This right here is a mini portable battery powered mixer. You get 6 different inputs, 5 different outputs. You have built-in reverb and delay. It has Bluetooth. It has phantom power. This right here is the MobileMix by Mackie. I used this at 4 different shows recently, and I'm going to share my experience with you. And in this video, I'm also going to go over all the features so you can see if this is something that's right for you. It's advertised as for live sound and for streaming and podcasting. I personally use this as a live musician. I'm not a live streamer or a podcaster, so I'm focusing on this for live performance. However, like I said, I'm still going to go over it in detail, all the inputs and outputs and controls, so you can see if this is something that's right for you. I've been excited to check this thing out ever since I saw it at NAMM earlier this year, and I want to say many thanks to Mackie for sending this over for me to check out. This is not a paid video or anything like that, and all the opinions in this video are my own. That's enough of the intro. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Now let's go ahead and get started. So you get a few things in the box. First of all, you get the mixer, obviously. You also get this USB-A to USB-C adapter cable. You do get this 3.5mm TRRS cable. And you also get this cable to power the device with USB-C if you want to use like a wall outlet, for example. So at the top, looking at the inputs, channel 1 and channel 2 are dual XLR or quarter-inch inputs. Channel 3 and 4 are paired together or as a stereo quarter-inch line level. And then channel 5 and 6 is a stereo 3.5mm TRS input. You have multiple outputs, so you have the main left and right output, which are only quarter-inch, and then you do have 2 separate headphone Mix 1 and Mix 2 outputs. And you can see this is powered with USB-C, and when I push the button, you can see that it turns on because it's completely battery powered. Now, the thing that's cool about this is you can actually open up the back here, and this is where you can put a power bank, and this is what powers the device itself. Pretty unique. I've never seen that in a mixer before. So going over the controls, starting with channel 1, so you have your gain knob up here. You have a switch right here if you do want to switch this to a high Z input, so you can use this with a guitar direct without needing a direct box, which is pretty cool. If you don't know the difference between mic line and instrument levels, I do have a video going over that. Next up, you have a low cut, which is really helpful. I love that that's included. A low cut can just clean things up so much. For your EQ, you only have high and low. The high is at 12 kilohertz and the low is at 80 hertz. No mid control. Definitely something to keep in mind. This knob controls how much of the effect that you're going to hear in your ears. There's 3 different effects on this. And then also you have your master volume knob right here. Channel 2 is the exact same thing. Channel 3 and 4, you have the exact same thing as well, except you do not have a way to set it to a high Z input. It's only for line level signal, and you don't have a low cut. Channel 5 and 6, you do also have a gain knob. You do also get an effect send, which is nice. I don't see that very often for TRS stereo inputs. And then here's your master level right here. And then for channel 7 and 8 is your Bluetooth. Very nice that it has its own channel for Bluetooth and its own volume knob for the Bluetooth channel. In order to pair to it, just hold this button until it starts to blink, and then you can connect to it with your phone or tablet or whatever you're trying to send Bluetooth from. Next up, we have the effects channel over here. So you can push this button to select between plate, Paul, or reverb plus delay. And then this is the master level for the effects. Probably best to leave that at noon and then dial in the effects on each individual channels. Your master main knob is over here. And one of the things that I do like about this mixer is that it kind of has a way to lock at noon. Almost all the knobs have a way where it just, you can tell that it locks in the noon position, which is really nice. Then you can have everything just right at unity, and it tells you when you're at unity. Nice little touch. I like that. So remember, you have those headphone outs as well. Mix 1 and Mix 2. This is where you control those levels from right here. You do also have a way to turn on phantom power, and that phantom power is for both input 1 and input 2, or for the XLRs anyways. So this is interesting how they did this. So you also have a 3.5mm input over here, and it has a switch to set it from line level or phone or camera level. And then over here is where the level of that is. Kind of an interesting spot to put it. Can be a little bit confusing, but it is nice that it gives you an extra input as well with separate volume control. This one right here, the blend knob, I'm honestly confused about this. Rotate to blend the levels of inputs 1 through 8 with the primary source, phone or camera, to the outputs. That sounds like something with like live streaming that I'm just not familiar with. If you understand how you would use that, please leave a comment down below. And last but not least, you also do have a headphone port up here, and that volume knob is controlled from down here. So you do have quite a bit of inputs and quite a bit of outputs, especially the outputs with this mixer for sure, which is quite nice. I'm going to show you how some of the reverbs and effects sound. Okay, now for a tone test of the effects. But I did want to show you here, I do find that this thing is pretty sensitive to gain. You can clip somewhat easily, so I recommend bringing your gain down and then your volume up just like a little bit. Test, 1, 2, hey, yep. Let me put a low cut on the vocals, and then I'm going to add some of the effects. I'm just going to put them at noon. This is probably way more than you need, but here is the plate reverb. This is the plate reverb. This right here is the hall reverb. This is the hall reverb. Again, probably more than you would use, but I want you to hear it. Pretty dark. And this is the reverb plus delay. Reverb plus delay. I personally would use the plate and I would dial it back a little bit. Check, check. Hey, test. Mic check, 1, 2. There's an example of the reverbs for you. As far as price, as of the time of shooting, this is currently listed at $229, and I will have purchase links to purchase down below in the description. Just FYI, if you use those links, it is a free way to support the channel at no extra cost to you, so I would appreciate it if you do decide that this product is right for you and for your needs. But now for my experience with using it. So first one was an acoustic duo. We needed 2 acoustic guitars and then 2 vocals. So it worked well. There were a few things that I ran into that I noticed with that. So first of all, we did vocal, and then we had guitar in 3 and 4, and then we just adjusted the level of our guitars on our guitars themselves. We each just set our volume accordingly. That was limiting that, you don't have 4 different inputs as like a live musician, but that was the workaround for it. The problem is that we had to go to 2 separate speakers, so we went to a left and a right. The problem was that the guitar that was plugged into the left input only went to the left speaker, and the other one only went to the right speaker. Something to keep in mind. If I was only going into one speaker that had 2 inputs, then it wouldn't have been a problem. But that is just something to keep in mind. So I had to run left and right to one speaker and then use a mix out and run it to the other speaker. So that was the workaround. It definitely got the job done. It worked. It's definitely nice having reverb. At that one, I noticed how sensitive it is to gain. So you definitely want to make sure that your gain, always make sure that everyone is checking at the full volume and set your gain accordingly. It's definitely very sensitive to gain. And also, don't make the mistake I did. And remember to charge the power bank. I didn't charge that. And at the last set, of course, the battery died. It was because I didn't charge it. So just remember, charge your power banks. You might ask about what is the battery life? That is going to depend on how strong your power bank is. So show 2 was just me running sound. I wasn't performing, but was for an acoustic duo, 2 vocal mics and 1 acoustic guitar. So we didn't have that issue of, having to worry about the panning and stuff like that because it was just going into one speaker. It worked really well. It started to rain at that show. We were set up outside. It took like a second just to move this inside. So that is really nice how small and portable this is. Again, I noticed on the sensitivity of the gain, but I was more prepared for it. So I was able to adjust, hey, turn down the gain a little bit, turn up the volume a bit. But it worked really well at that one. Next show that I used it at was for a wedding ceremony. So this one I needed to have the lapel mic for the efficient, acoustic guitar, and violin into this. 3 inputs seems to be the nice sweet spot for this as far as just using it for a live performance. But that one worked really well. Show 4 was also an acoustic duo at a wedding for a cocktail hour. Also worked really well for that. I forgot I also used it at a 5th show. We went up and played in Wyoming. We had to do a little trio set on top of performing as a band. So it was 2 vocals and 2 acoustic guitars for this one. And again, it seems like 3 is the sweet spot. So what I did is I sent 2 vocals and 1 guitar into the Mackie MobileMix. And then since it was just 1 speaker, I put the Mackie MobileMix into one of the inputs and then the other guitar into the second input. And that seemed to work really well. So for pros and cons, and actually I'm going to do pros, neutrals, and con with this one actually. Pros, it's battery powered. It's nice that you can have a portable power bank inside and also power it with USB on the outside. That's also very helpful. Another pro, that it has built-in effects. Just adding a little bit of reverb to vocals when you're singing is very, very helpful. I love that it has that low cut. That's such a simple little detail, but just that shelf below, 100 hertz for stuff like vocals or anything that's not really a sub frequency like bass or kick drum or anything like that. It is so nice to just clean up the mix by just doing that. I like that the first 2 inputs can either be mic, line, or it has that option for the high Z input, especially for acoustic performers. I think this will be catered towards acoustic performances. It's also cool that there's a spot that you can put your phone or your tablet in there. That is pretty cool. Some of you will have to take off your case for that. Just keep that in mind. And there's multiple inputs and outputs with this thing. However, I'm going to put that in kind of the neutral category, but I'll explain why here in a second. Another neutral is that, how there's the power bank inside here? It would be really nice if this port right here would charge it inside, but it doesn't. This is actually just used for power if you need power on the outside, like you don't have your power bank in here. So in order to charge it, you have to open this up, take this out, and plug it in order to charge your power bank. It's not the end of the world, but it's almost just like it would be better if there was just like a built-in battery and you can just plug in up here in order to charge it. It is cool that it can do that as the power bank, but it almost just feels like it's kind of like a gimmick almost. Again, it's still cool that it does it, but it's not as convenient as I think that it would be because you still have to open it up, take it out, and then charge it. Still cool, and that's why I'm conflicted on this one. I'm going to put it under neutral. Another spot for neutral is the effects. The effects are decent. They're not amazing by any means. You only have 3 of them. They're nothing to write home about, but they are usable. That's the thing. Just adding a little bit of reverb to the vocals can help a lot, or to acoustic guitar or violin. If you're someone who needs a lot more effects and a lot more control over the effects, you're definitely not going to like this one. However, I do still think that they are usable. In the end, that's what counts. So that's why I'm going to place this under neutral as well. So the cons, I've said it throughout this video, it is very sensitive to gain. And actually, I had to get a replacement unit. Actually, I had another one, and it was, we might have like blown the preamp or something like that. It was pretty bad how sensitive the gain was. And that Mackie sent over a second one. They were kind enough to send over a second one. And this one is working fine now. But it is still very sensitive to gain. So just make sure you're watching your input and make sure you're not clipping, especially if you have a really dynamic singer without any compression or something like that. The gain is quite sensitive on this. No mid control, and the lack of EQ on this is definitely pretty tough. I love that it has that low cut, but with the EQ, you'd basically just have 80 hertz and the 12 kilohertz for the highs. It would be really nice if there was some mid control on here. Now, remember how I was talking about the inputs and the outputs and stuff like that? This is the main con for me personally, but it might not be a con for you. I feel like this device is really catered towards live streaming and podcasting. It says that it's for live sound and for podcasting and for streaming, but I feel like it's catered more towards the podcasting and streaming element. 2 ports for 3.5 millimeter is really interesting. I don't know how many musicians need that live. Leave a comment if that's something that you're looking for, but I can't really see very many people using 3.5 millimeter or needing 2 of them especially. I really, really wish it just had like 4 of these combo inputs up here, 4 separate controls, and then it kept like that 3.5 millimeter up here, and then the Bluetooth as well. Now, this is an issue that you're going to run into, that I see this happen in the comment section. I have to check myself on this sometimes. We all want stuff to be portable and compact, but we want it to have all the features in the world. You have to make some sort of sacrifices in order to make something so compact like this, which is why it's important to know what features you need, and then you can decide if this is something that's right for you. But I really just can't see musicians using this live needing 2 3.5 millimeter ports, and then, you know, the 2 mix out ports with 2 separate controls. But I mean, you can't even use them as like an aux send for like in your monitors or wedges or something like that. Not that you would really be running a big setup with this mixer anyways, but it just feels like it's not necessary for live musicians. This is still a good little mixer for sure. I just really feel like it's catered towards live streaming and podcasting. I almost wish that this was like Mackie MobileMix live stream, and then they came out with like another one that was called Mackie MobileMix Live. If they would lose the 2 mix out ports, but still keep that headphone out, that's most people will want that, and then have 4 of the dual combo jack inputs, and then add mid control, I think it could be awesome as a portable little mixer that you need for live musicians. I did read some other reviews and watch a couple of other videos, and people said they really loved this for live streaming and podcasting. That seems to be what it's catered towards. I don't really see it as much for live musicians. I still think solo acts or duos or ceremony music, I definitely think this could be used for like running sound for ceremonies and stuff like that, because a lot of those you have to set up at places where there's no power. So overall, just being honest, I don't think this is the right mixer for me and my needs personally. Did it work at the shows that I use it at? Yes, absolutely. I was able to get through it, and that's what's important. But overall, as far as just like a review, I can't really see it being catered towards live musicians. Having said that, just because it's not right for me doesn't mean it's not right for you. In my videos, that's why I like to go over the details so you can see, oh, this is something I need, or no, this is something I don't need, and then you can make the decision for yourself. Watch videos on the layouts, the specs, the inputs, the outputs, the controls, and make the decision if it applies to you and your setup or not. And hopefully this video has helped you make that decision. And because this system isn't right for me, I'm actually going to do a giveaway to one of my subscribers. I always try to do giveaways whenever I can. And if this is something that's right for you, I'd rather have it go to a good home. So first of all, this is only for subscribers. So if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. And then second, in order to win the giveaway, you have to leave a comment down below and you have to use the magic phrase. You can say whatever you want in the comment section, just as long as at some point you say the magic phrase, unlimited power. Going with a Star Wars reference for this giveaway. You only have 24 hours to enter the giveaway, and I will announce the winner on this date right here. Please remember, do not respond to scammers. I will never ask you for money, ever, period. Scammers sometimes show up when I do giveaways. I will never message you and ask you for money for these giveaways, ever, period. Please do not respond to scammers. So thank you guys again for watching. If you found this video helpful, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button to feed those YouTube algorithm gods. Also check out the video that I did for the Mackie SHOWBOX. This is a cool battery-powered speaker system by Mackie that has a breakaway mixer that has 6 different inputs. That thing is pretty cool. And also, if you are looking for a battery-powered mixer with more specs and features, it's going to cost a little bit more, but the one I just reviewed by Elite Acoustics, the Stomp Mix X6, is pretty cool. So you can check out both of those videos by clicking the links on your screen now. Thank you guys again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at ScottUOMusic. I post a lot about my shows there, especially on my stories. Thank you guys again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.